Welcome to the Go Electric Fleet Show. This is where we sit down and chat about EV fleets, infrastructure, and more. Join us as we explore EV fleets here in BC. Our very own Brendan James had a chat with Richard Greenhalgh, the Chief Operating Officer with Whiskey Jack Transportation and Technologies, to learn about the electrification of their fleet for use in the local film industry. Take a look.
Richard Greenhalgh, thanks very much for spending a little bit of time with us this afternoon
pleasure.
on the Go Electric Fleet Show. So this is a new show that is supported by Plug-in BC, and we're working with different fleet operators and thought leaders and organizations that are incorporating fleet electrification into their organizations. And Whiskey Jack Transportation, or Transport in this case, is one of those organizations that we're really interested in talking to and learning more about and featuring on the show. So maybe you could just give me some context about, how you came to work in this industry. I know that the background that you have is with movies and movie production, and now you're working in transport and logistics. So give me a little bit of more about your journey to this present day.
After I graduated from the Vancouver Film School, I was what's called a locations production assistant for Paramount Canada. And that began my journey into film. And the locations department works very closely with the transportation department, handling logistics. You can imagine a film crew is the closest model to the Army in terms of coming into a neighborhood, setting up the base camp, taking over, having an area of operations, conducting your filming, do the mission, end the day, tear down, repeat.
Yeah, the circus.
The circus, yes. Yeah. I started doing that in about 2006. Basically started moving through the ranks of the Directors Guild of Canada, which is the union for assistant directors, location managers, production assistants here in BC. So as I started going through the journey, I've always worked very closely with transport. I've always been interested in vehicles my whole life, cars.
Yeah.
And when I started producing, probably about 6 years ago, going through the ranks of location manager, production manager, producer, I saw that at the time in Vancouver, the transport industry was very hot and booming, and the market was being exploited in terms of prices for producers. And I felt that we could probably do it cheaper or better if we took on the responsibility ourselves, and having worked so closely with transport, I understood how they operated and what they needed, because in the locations department, you supply them with the parking.
Yeah.
For whatever their logistical needs are, they take it there, you provide it.
Yeah.
And so I got to know the gear very well over the years. And a lot of the film industry that I started producing in was kind of low budget, what's called independent acquisitions. And so, a lot of the trucks that were out there, weren't entirely in the best of shape. As a location manager, I dealt with a lot of, oil leaks or hydraulic fluid leaks on people's properties.
Yeah,
we were filming at, and it always was a point of contention, rightfully so. We've had to engage in insurance claims to, remunerate the property, putting in a new driveway.
Yeah, totally.
Because it got stained. So, as I started, understanding all the bits and bobs and how expensive it was, we did a beta test with the studio on a couple trucks to see how it would go. And they were ICE vehicles, they were a 3-ton diesel and a 5-ton diesel. And we started putting it into circulation, and They were very high-end trucks that didn't leak. They were brand new, and it worked for us. And we just kind of grew with the studio as they ramped up from, 6 movies a year to 27 a year.
Yeah.
We ramped up our operations as well.
That's great. That's great. So you started with internal combustion engine vehicles. Can you share sort of the main motivations behind the shift to electric? When was that sort of decision made?
Eventually, Whiskey Jack's first endeavor after the trucks, the 2 trucks, was we tried to develop basically, imagine, if you will, a 40-foot trailer full of deep cycle forklift batteries.
Yeah.
With a big transformer on it that we felt we could design this and come up with it and move from diesel generators to this giant battery, if you will.
Yeah.
We thought it out. We took it to engineering, and engineering came back and said, you know what? It's not quite going to work the way that you guys wanted. Have you guys thought about hydrogen?
Yeah.
And so we were like, that's all very interesting. We don't have enough money to develop that stuff. We're just gonna go back to what we know, which is the ICE vehicles.
Yeah.
And as time grew and we went from, 2 trucks to 25, we started to hear about, electric medium and heavy duty trucks. And, the co-founder and I, we both have kids. We've always both been very sympathetic to environmental causes, whether it's, doing a pro bono piece for the Ports of Richmond, BC, on their fishing net recycling program. Yeah. That was a beta test in Richmond that went national. We did a free documentary promo piece for them.
Yeah.
You can find that on YouTube, Operation Fishnet. And it was something we were really proud of and really fed the soul, if you will.
Yeah.
And so as we started to look at these electric trucks, in particular, we were looking at Lion Electric out of Montreal. It was a big thing for us to support a local industry, support the home team. And we looked into the product and we made contact with them, and we started to forge a relationship with them, and we got to know the product. And we decided that we really wanted to pioneer something. We wanted to be the first to do something, and all the byproducts that came with it, helping the environment, reducing emissions, it's good for the industry.
Yeah.
There were just so many reasons to move forward, that we went into our financing plan, and then we saw, the rebates that were being offered from the BC and federal governments. You'll have to forgive me on the names; they've changed.
Yeah, absolutely, they have. Yeah,
and if you know, please correct me. But we basically decided that, with the rebates, we could try and make a business of this. And our calculation going into it was purpose over profit at first.
Yeah.
And we really, if it was going to take us 10 years to recoup our money, so be it. But we had a purpose, and we wanted to pioneer, and, we want to, we want a better place for our children in the future. And these were really driving factors.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. And that's the same or a very similar story shared by other organizational leaders in the Lower Mainland that are sort of getting into this electrification of fleets. So you guys said that you work with the province and you had you access the rebates. Did you work with any of the other provincial programs, like get advice or sort of using a sort of the Fleet Advisor program with Plug-in BC at all, or any of those other tools in the toolbox to help you along this path?
Well, we already through our ICE leases, we were working with Penske Canada,
Okay.
and we were using their fleet system for tracking, our mileage and CVIs and so forth.
Yeah.
We did have offers from those bodies to help, with fleet management, but we felt we kind of already had it taken care of.
Yeah.
Through our Penske leases that were kind of built into the leases already. It didn't cost us extra.
Yeah, that's great.
So we also had a professional trucking fleet manager named Roy Ellis come in and do an evaluation of our company to see if we needed to either move into a more of like having our own garage. And Roy's analysis of the people that we were doing our fleet maintenance with, it was decided that like we're doing the right thing. We don't really have to change or get a mechanic, which would have been an added expense. Cool. But the province and is it Go Electric BC? I can't.
Yeah, it's called the Go Electric Fleet Charging Program, which is kind of like the new name of it. Yeah.
Yeah, they've always been there for every question, every call, every iteration of applications that we put in. We had quite a few applications putting in. The problem was our timing. We really had a plan to bring in electric tractors, long haul style.
Yeah.
And we were really excited about that. And the problem was the industry. We had the writer's strike, we had the actor's strike, and so now we're 7 months of no business.
Yeah,
and that froze our cash. Our cash flow. We had to get into survival mode because we had just made this expenditure, into the 3 Lion electric trucks, of a 1.2 million price tag.
Yeah.
Plus, building boxes on these trucks and shipping them from Montreal.
Yeah.
So our timing just, for us in the universe, it just didn't work out. And there were some things that we weren't able to accomplish that we really wanted to. But, we were still able to, move forward with the first electric 5 tons for film, as far as I know. And we did 2 6 battery configurations, which gave us a range of about, it all depends on payload, but, about 360 kilometers per charge.
Awesome.
The 4 battery configuration was more about 280, but it could take a higher payload. And so we gave that a try to have a little bit of variance for our clients. Like if you had a higher payload, we had a truck that could take care of that as well.
Yeah. So you've talked about the writer's strike and the actor's strike. Obviously, that has been a huge logistical challenge. As you said, it was a hiccup in your journey here. Yeah. From a technical perspective, what has been your biggest technical challenge, whether it's getting this equipment up and running or charging infrastructure in the yard? What have you stumbled across in this journey that you didn't expect?
The first thing is about re-energizing, How are you going to re-energize? How much time are you going to take re-energizing? Because, you pull up an ICE truck at the pump station, you do your pump, 15 minutes, you go grab a Coke and a newspaper, you come back and you're on your way. Yeah. Sadly, that's just not the way it works with electric trucks. It could take anywhere, from 4 to 6 hours.
Yeah, totally.
On a charge. And I think the hardest thing has been for industry and users to get past that point.
Yeah.
And so we developed a re-energizing solution, which we called Firefly. It's two DC 30 kilowatt chargers in a trailer with a transformer that's mobile.
Okay.
You can bring it to the set and hook it up to a towable diesel generator.
Okay.
That will give you, in my humble opinion, I believe it would be a carbon neutral, because a lot of those diesel generators, you're not maximizing the efficiency and the power that they're putting out.
Yeah.
So I kind of found that when you start putting Firefly to it, all that energy that was being wasted is actually feeding something.
Yeah. Because otherwise they're just running or they're idling and there's no draw and they run.
That's right.
Constantly. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. And so, and then we were able to hook up Firefly to the studios as well, because they have the power source for it. And so that was our solution to re-energizing instead of going to stations. You could go and have your team go and do their duties for the day and then come back to the studio and park it overnight and re-energize.
Yeah.
There's telematics on these trucks that, we could log into it right now and see what the battery capacity is at. We can see where the drivers, were they too heavy on the foot of the gas or the brake? It's awesome. Really incredible. What data we can mine, as well as emissions and regenerative braking and all those things that are a plus to having an electric vehicle.
Yeah.
But the re-energizing situation, I think, is a hard one for people to get over. I tried to encourage drivers, that use this time to read a book, call your wife, or have a nap, but make it part of the culture instead of having it impede the culture. And I think that's a hard one we're still kind of working through. But I think if the employers and management want the workers to do that, then they'll engage.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. Also, there's a lot of downtime on set where vehicles have dwell time. They're sort of waiting for the next thing to happen as well. So do you it's great that you have a Firefly, this sort of solution, so that those trucks can get energized when they're not being used is incredible.
Yeah. And we had discussions with the big studios about what they were looking for. And, they didn't want to have the standard trucks that drive around and then park for 4 days.
Yeah.
They wanted trucks that were buzzing all day long.
Okay.
Maximum efficiency out of those trucks, maximum emission reduction.
Yeah.
And we were happy to do that for them. In particular, it's been used for what's called the set deck department. And the transport department's been using it, what they call as a slush vehicle.
Yeah.
They just throw everything in there. It's we've turned the tide on some hardcore diesel heads.
I'm sure.
Who love the torque of the trucks. They like how quiet they are. But you still have the naysayers, the old school guys that just aren't quite convinced yet. And we actually look forward to encountering those individuals so we can change their mind.
So the relationship with the studios and the drivers. So I know that you have the company that owns the trucks, and then there's a pool of drivers from like Teamsters Local, and then they get dispatched to come and move the vehicle, drive the vehicle to wherever the production is. Is that the same case with these electric trucks as well? Like you have a variety of different drivers driving them, or are they your own drivers driving them?
The production supplies the drivers.
Okay.
In order to make this work, and to break through some of the challenges that we have, like re-energizing and
Yeah.
the downtime with that, you really have to have a driver that gets it and wants to be a part of the change,
Yeah.
not a driver that is an ice head.
Yeah. Totally.
and we really need drivers that want to see this work. And on one of our last projects we had, and Netflix is great, by the way, for this.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you know their commitment, but they are 100% committed to having every vehicle on their sets be electric.
So, have you guys developed any training material to be able to onboard these drivers and get them informed? Like, what is the process with handing your vehicle over to a driver, maybe that doesn't know anything about electric vehicles?
Yeah. So as part of our business plan, a lot of companies out there, they bought the trucks after us,
Yeah.
and they were like, a standard rental. They just gave you the keys and good luck.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was never our approach. Our
Mhm.
approach always was to have a symbiotic relationship with the drivers, whether it was our sustainable production manager, Jose Luis,
Yeah.
taking them on a driving tutorial and telling them, these are the nuances of the vehicle. This is how it
Yeah.
starts. It's not like a combustion engine where you just start it and you get fire, air, and fuel, and boom, it combusts.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
It's very computerized, and
Yeah.
you have to wait. It's a system. It's got to load and blah blah
Mhm.
blah, and then
Yeah.
it'll let you know when it's good to go, and then you
Yeah.
drive. And,
Yeah.
so we would do tutorials with the drivers, and we'd also in our pre-discussions send them like a list on this is how to use this vehicle. Like
Yeah.
Lion
Yeah.
has some
That's great. Yeah.
videos. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Like the proactivity just on that piece right now, like that you've mentioned, is so amazing to me. Like that extra hand holding, the coaching, and you just from that education piece, you're doing so much for getting drivers stoked to use this sort of equipment and be sort of ready for the future driving electric trucks. Like that's an incredible thing. I'd love to sit in on one of those driving training or sort of orientation sessions that Jose Luis would put together. Like that is an incredible piece right there. So
Yeah, they're usually
amazing.
about 45 minutes, and
Yeah.
the professional, the drivers, especially Teamster drivers, like these are professional drivers. They could park a 40-foot trailer into a thimble.
Yeah, they're incredible. Yeah.
They're amazing to watch
Yeah.
drive. And they just, once you kind of give them how it works, and then they roll with it.
It'd be really interesting to hear your advice for other companies looking to get into electrification. Based on your journey, what are 3 key sort of takeaways that you would provide other organizations on going the same route as Whiskey Jack Transport?
Well, you're going to need a lot of patience. Patience is the key. You're going to have a customer service mentality to walk these clients through this new technology and this new way of doing transportation.
Yeah.
And kind of to answer your earlier question, we don't have a permanent home yet for Whiskey Jack. That's something we're working on. We've been using the Charge BC app
Okay.
to find the locations and to charge the truck when we're not using Firefly. We also encourage the drivers to download that app so that it can help with their range anxiety.
Yeah.
So that they can go and get re-energized. But you really have to have a conviction for this. Is kind of the last point. Would be first would be patience. Second would be a real coming from a customer service point, and
Yeah.
then a real conviction for this to work. My partner and I do it because of the overall good we see if everybody was doing it.
Yeah.
Less emissions, less pollution, less global warming, more time, more generations can thrive and succeed. There's a businessman that I was doing a deal with, and he had this to say, when you're in the food line, take enough for yourself and leave enough for the other guy.
Yeah.
And it's the people that just want to eat it all and take it all and leave nothing for anybody. I think that's the problem with some of the ways people do business today. There's got to be more of a community type thought to it, where it's just not about one organization profiting. It's about the community profiting and how to integrate yourself with them. So, I hope that kind of answers it.
Thank you very much. That was really insightful. Yeah, congratulations. I think that you're doing an incredible job running this company and, being a pioneer, as you said, in fleet electrification. It obviously hasn't been easy, but you guys are persevering and doing a great job in it. So kudos. I really hope to see your company grow and do great things. So good stuff.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. A lot of our transport colleagues, a lot of them that have been doing it for 20 or 30 years said, you guys are crazy. This is never going to work. When people say that's just fuel for us.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel for more updates on fleet electrification and other sustainable transportation solutions. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on the Go Electric Fleet Show.